Looking for trusted vehicle protection? American Guardian Warranty Services has you covered. Since 1998, we've delivered top-tier coverage, award-winning support, and industry-leading training to keep your business moving forward. Every way forward.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Monday, July 21st, 2025. I'm Jake Neer in Detroit, in for Kellen Walker. Today on the show, Stellantis posts a first-half loss of $2.7 billion. A new report says franchise dealerships saw double-digit profit gains in the second quarter, and one major auto supplier sees record profits while passing on tariff costs. Plus, we'll hear from Siyu Huang, founder and CEO of Factorial Energy, about the solid-state battery maker's business in 2025.
Despite of the market challenges and the policy shifts, there are going to be healthy adoption for commercial EVs in different sectors.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry. Stellantis expects a $2.7 billion loss in the first half. The automaker said its initial estimate was that tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump on U.S. imports cost it 300 million euros, or about $350 million US dollars, due to lower shipments and production cuts. Stellantis says North America shipments declined by 25% year-on-year in the second quarter. Franchise dealerships showed large net profit gains this quarter compared with last year. That's as customers rushed to buy new vehicles before tariffs increased sticker prices. Those are the findings of the latest Presidio NCM Average Dealership Performance Benchmark report. The average franchise dealership saw a nearly 22% net profit gain compared with the same period a year ago, when the CDK global cybersecurity attack negatively affected dealerships' bottom line. And automotive safety product supplier Autoliv set records for sales, operating income, and margin in the second quarter. It saw strong sales in Europe and North America and was able to get automakers to cover the cost of President Trump's higher tariffs. The Swedish company is the world's largest maker of airbags and seatbelts. It counts Volkswagen Group, Stellantis, and Toyota among its largest customers. And those are today's headlines. Now joining us to talk about Stellantis' first half loss, we have Nick Bunkley, who leads our automaker coverage here at Automotive News. Nick, welcome to Daily Drive.
Glad to be here.
So I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen a Detroit automaker post such a big loss. What does this say, do you think, about the health of the company at Stellantis?
Well, it wasn't that long ago that Stellantis was also posting really big profits, the biggest of the Detroit automakers, in fact, just a couple of years ago. And what you're seeing now is basically one of the big reasons why Carlos Tavares is no longer the CEO of Stellantis, because last year turned into such a disaster that by the end of the year, he was gone. And now the new CEO, Antonio Filosa, is left to try to start putting things back in the right direction. And although the numbers today show that they clearly have a lot of work to do, there is some optimism within the company, the dealers, that he will get things moving back the right direction.
Just last week, we saw Volvo Cars, a much, much smaller player here in the U.S., of course, also posting a significant loss, including restructuring penalties and tariff impacts. Do you expect to see more of this as we find more earnings results coming out in the next few days? Are we going to see more of these kinds of losses throughout the rest of 2025?
Well, certainly the automakers are dealing with a lot of things that are reducing their profits, if not taking them all the way to a loss. Like in those cases, tariffs are a big one. We're going to have General Motors putting out their profits this week as well, and they've said that they're going to expect a hit of $4 to $5 billion this year just from tariffs. So, I don't expect that their numbers will be what we're seeing from Stellantis, but their tariff impact is pretty big.
Nick Bunkley leads our automaker coverage here at Automotive News. Nick, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insights today.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming up, we'll get an update on the race to scale up production of solid-state batteries with Factorial CEO Siyu Huang. That's next on Daily Drive.
When it comes to vehicle protection, American Guardian Warranty Services has you covered. Since 1998, AGWS has been a trusted leader in F&I solutions, offering top-tier protection plans for autos, RVs, power sports, marine, and more, all backed by A-rated insurance carriers for reliable coverage you can count on. But we don't just offer protection, we deliver results. With award-winning marketing materials, expert dealer training through AGWS University, and exceptional customer service, we are committed to helping your business grow while keeping your customers protected. Join thousands of satisfied dealers and agents who trust AGWS for comprehensive coverage and unmatched support. Visit agws.com or call 800-579-2233 today to keep your business moving forward. Every way forward.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Jake Neer. In the world of EV batteries, solid-state technology is seen by many as a holy grail of sorts to increase range and cut charging times to mere minutes. One company, Factorial Energy, has made some strides in the effort to commercialize and scale solid-state technology. It's now working with Stellantis, Mercedes-Benz, and Hyundai. Factorial CEO Siyu Huang recently spoke with our own Pete Bigelow on Shift, a podcast about mobility. Here's a piece of their conversation.
A big topic of conversation and probably concern is what President Trump's big, beautiful bill does for EV tax credits here in America. We're already seeing some of the ramifications with automakers changing their plans. So I've seen a lot of alarm, but from your perspective, how alarmed should we be or should we not be with this change in government support for EVs?
Yeah, that's definitely a very important policy shift that we have been watching the last few months. And I would say with this bill coming together, yes, we do see a lot more challenges on the EV battery industry, but we also see more tailwind towards the defense-related applications. So, we recently had this press release related to the drone market. We had the first shipment to AV Drone, which is a North American drone company. It does lead this entire effort of solid-state battery in a drone. So, yeah, I think with that, it's definitely a really good tailwind for us to play in a potential drone and aviation market and even broadly in the defense market. And also, I think this is very important to help us improve our performance and really lead the performance of batteries, but also reduce the cost in the long run.
Great. And I think that's probably an important point to mention maybe off the bat. How do you intend to play at Factorial in the aerospace, drone, aviation, eVTOL markets?
I would say for the aerospace market, it's all about performance. And they do have a little bit of sensitivity about cost, but compared with 30% of cost within the EVs, they are much less sensitive. I've heard even as little as 3% of the cost for some of the aviation applications. So from the price sensitivities, they're definitely good adopters for the early technologies. And I think it's really coming down to what is the right application for our technology. From the performance perspective, our fast technology, especially with lithium metal, with high energy density, that what we shared even with the Mercedes B sample earlier last year, 390 watt-hour per kilogram, and it's much higher energy density compared with traditional lithium-ion batteries. And with this up to 50% higher energy density, we are going to be able to have a much better value proposition when it comes to aviation market. Because aviation is very sensitive to the weight, to takeoff and cruising. So especially for drones, such type of applications, it greatly limit the dimension and the range that drone can cruise. So yeah, with the higher energy density battery, we'll be able to improve the range of the battery, and at the same time, we'll be able to have a strong power capabilities. Lithium metal batteries actually having a better power capabilities than a lot of conventional lithium-ion battery. And for lithium-ion, there's typically a compromise between the power and range. But for lithium-ion batteries, it's actually the higher the power you go to, the better the energy density you'll be able to achieve. So it's really complementary performance, and that's why we think it's going to be a disruptive technology for this industry.
All right, super. I'll take it back to the traditional ground electric vehicle industry for a minute. Do you think that the U.S. will ultimately get kind of pulled along into the electric vehicle age, no matter what, because the rest of the world is going that way?
I do think so. I think there is still commercial needs on electric vehicles. And I do also believe that this demand will be, over the long term, be really recalibrated. Because, initially, whenever there's a new industry coming together, people will always have some high hopes about how quickly it's going to take over. But, reality always have to come into into play when it comes to the real data behind all the market numbers. So we do see that it's not really just completely like take off of the EV market, but it's also not a completely meet for the EV market. We do see there is a recalibrated growth over the next few years, and despite of the market challenges and the policy shifts, there are going to be healthy adoption for commercial EVs in different sectors. But I do think that with the policy in the rest of the world, there will be actually more adoptions of EV in the next few years. So for us, we are a U.S. company with a global vision, and our customer base, no matter if it's from Mercedes, Stellantis, Hyundai, Kia, they are not only based in the U.S. but also globally.
Sure. I was going to ask you if perhaps Factorial is somewhat insulated from the political swings here, because those three global OEMs you just named are your prominent customers and investors, and they all have global ambitions. So I imagine that's got to help sitting in your shoes.
Right. It's fairly healthy and diversified customer base. And also with the smaller applications or high spec applications like drone is going to help us diversify further. And we're sure, like, even I'll say the biggest player that are ahead in this current policy change is with the traditional lithium-ion battery makers. And those have invested like tens of $billions into this existing infrastructure is going to be really hit the most. And for us, like, we haven't invested a lot into the infrastructure, right? So I think also with the SOP and with the commercial tractions or mass production volume coming along later in the decade and early next decade, is going to be a different thing by that time as well.
Understood. For others, as you kind of like look out over the battery startup space right now, who perhaps are more in the crosshairs, is it a bit of a double whammy because investors want to talk about and invest in AI right now, and battery startups can be so hard to invest in because it's a long play, right? And everybody's looking for the short-term win on AI. So are perhaps your competitors, maybe not in the specific chemistry or solid state, but big picture, other battery startups, are they really hurting right now for that reason as well?
Yeah, I do think there is overall challenges in the especially VC and private equity market for battery startups. But I think quality startups, also with good commercial tractions, can potentially be able to win out of this competition. And I do think that I do wish that a lot of these VCs and private equity firms do have a longer term vision, but I also respect that a lot of them, they have a longevity of their mandate and they have to cover for 3 to 5 years of the turnaround. So I do see like there are also a lot of strategics actually playing a more important role in this investment and fundraising environment.
All right, super. You've hit on this a little bit, but how are things at Factorial?
It's been great. I mean, we have, as you see, we have been relatively well sheltered from this geopolitical tension and all this policy shifts here. And we also have made a lot of great commercial progress recently. We launched our first B sample last year. And since, we discussed in 2023, we have shipped thousands of our solid state batteries to our global OEMs. And earlier this year in February, we also announced the first solid state battery vehicle in the world that's being powered by Factorial's battery and also built by a global automotive OEM. So yeah, that was a really exciting development with Mercedes that extends the range of the battery from like the traditional lithium ion. They actually swapped out the CATL battery and replaced that with Factorial's battery, extends the range by 25% with a target of 1,000 kilometers. And we're also be able to deliver various great performance metrics, as recently we announced with Stellantis about a technology milestone we hit towards the next demonstration fleet in 2026. So there is a variety of technology attributes that we shared as part of that demonstration. So not only when it comes to energy density, we had like 375 watt-hour per kilogram, which is already like 30% higher compared with traditional lithium-ion battery. But we had also a really healthy cycle life of 600, and together with a broad range of operating temperatures, as well as fast charging capabilities up to like 18 minutes. So I think that's a really good validation that's being done by Stellantis, and it's also the first like full validation that's being shared by any global OEM to a cell maker. We're very proud of that, and with this, we were able to unlock this demonstration fleet to be launched in 2026 with Dodge Charger Daytona as part of the Stellantis large platform.
Will those vehicles be in Europe, in the United States, a whole bunch of different markets? Where do the Daytonas get out into the real world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that's still to be decided within the OEM's pipeline. But, you know, like for the initial builds, that's something that we're contemplating in the US.
Siyu Huang is CEO of Factorial Energy. You can hear her full conversation with our own Pete Bigelow on Shift, a podcast about mobility. That's available now wherever you get your podcasts. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Jake Neer, in for Kellen Walker. Thanks to automotive news journalist Mary Corey for her reporting for today's podcast. We also had reporting from Doug Bolduc of our sibling publication, Automotive News Europe. You can get the latest news on tech and innovation, earnings results, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com. Come back tomorrow for a look at our reporting on General Motors' future products with our own Lindsay Van Hully. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoyed the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.